Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to welcome you all today. Thank you for joining this session. Today, we will be exploring the qualification of melting point apparatus, presented by Dr. S.K. Singh, who holds a PhD in this field. Over the next few minutes, I will guide you through the key aspects of this important instrument. We'll cover its significance, how it works, and what makes its qualification essential. So, let's get started and delve into the fascinating world of melting point determination. Today, we're focusing on the purpose of our discussion: how to qualify melting point equipment to ensure that our measurements are accurate, reliable, and compliant with regulatory standards. A melting point apparatus is essentially an analytical tool used to determine the melting range of solid substances. This measurement is crucial because it helps us confirm the identity, assess purity, and maintain quality control for pharmaceuticals and chemicals. The way it works is quite straightforward. The apparatus gradually heats a small sample placed in a capillary tube and detects the temperature at which the sample transitions from solid to liquid. This melting point is a key parameter in many analytical and quality assurance processes. Why is this important? Well, melting point is a fundamental physicochemical property that's often referenced in official compendial tests, like those in the USB, BP, or IP. Ensuring our equipment is properly qualified means our measurements are consistent, trustworthy, and compliant with these standards. So, in essence, the goal here is to make sure that our melting point apparatus is properly qualified, so the data we generate is both accurate and accepted by regulatory authorities. When it comes to regulatory expectations, it's essential for regulated laboratories to demonstrate that their analytical instruments, such as melting point apparatuses, are properly qualified, calibrated, and controlled. This is crucial to ensure that the data we generate is reliable and accurate under frameworks like GMP, GLP, and ISO. Key references in this area include the FDA 21 CFR 211, 160b, which mandates that laboratory instruments must be calibrated at suitable intervals to maintain their performance. Then there's EU GMP Annex 15, which provides a comprehensive outline of the entire life cycle for equipment, including design qualification, installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification, often summarized as DQ, IQ, OQ, PQ. This ensures that equipment is fit for purpose from start to finish. Additionally, ISO IEC 17025 emphasizes that laboratories must ensure their equipment calibration is traceable to international standards, which is vital for maintaining consistency and credibility across different settings. The core idea here is that qualification isn't just a box to check. It's about ensuring that your equipment is fit for purpose and that the data generated is trustworthy. This ties directly into our overall goal of maintaining data integrity and compliance across all our operations. Let's take a closer look at the qualification lifecycle for analytical equipment. This process generally involves 4 key phases, each with its specific purpose. First, we have design qualification, or DQ. This is where we confirm that the equipment's design aligns with our user requirements, ensuring it's built to meet our needs from the start. Next is installation qualification, or IQ. In this phase, we verify that the equipment has been installed correctly and that all documentation is in place. Proper installation is critical to ensure everything functions as intended. Then comes operational qualification, or OQ. Here, we test the equipment's critical functions, such as temperature control, heating rates, and display accuracy. We want to make sure everything operates within specified parameters. Finally, we have performance qualification, or PQ. This phase demonstrates that the equipment performs consistently over time, often by using reference standards across multiple runs. The goal is to verify ongoing performance and reliability. It's important to remember that each of these phases must be thoroughly documented with protocols, worksheets, and reports. This documentation not only provides traceability, but also ensures compliance with quality standards. Overall, this life cycle approach helps us ensure that our analytical equipment remains reliable and effective throughout its use. Now, let's talk about design qualification, or DQ. The main goal here is to make sure that the instrument we plan to purchase or install actually meets our specific use requirements right from the start. This involves thoroughly defining the key specifications before making any commitments. For example, we need to consider the temperature range that the instrument must operate within to handle our materials properly. We also look at how precisely the instrument can control heating rates, which might be something like 1 to 5 degrees Celsius per minute, depending on our process needs. Another important feature is whether the instrument offers digital readouts or video capture capabilities, especially if we're working with automated systems. These features can help with data accuracy and documentation. Finally, traceability is critical. We need to ensure that the instrument's calibration and performance can be linked back to recognized standards, such as those from USB or BP. This traceability helps us maintain quality and compliance throughout our operations. Overall, DQ is about setting clear, well-defined parameters up front to ensure the instrument will perform reliably and meet our intended use, supporting the integrity of the entire process. Now, let's talk about the installation qualification, or IQ, which is a crucial first step in validating our equipment. The checklist for IQ includes several key points to ensure everything is in order before we proceed. First, we need to verify that the equipment has been received undamaged and that the model and serial number are correctly documented. This helps us track the equipment accurately and confirms we're working with the right device. Next, we check that the power source, environment, and utilities match the manufacturer's specifications. This is vital because any deviation could affect the equipment's performance or safety. We also need to ensure that all manuals and standard operating procedures, or SOPs, are available and accessible. These documents are essential for proper operation and future troubleshooting. Lastly, calibration certificates from ISO 17025 accredited laboratories, such as NABL, should be present. These certificates confirm that the equipment has been properly calibrated according to recognized standards, ensuring accuracy and reliability. Overall, this IQ process helps us establish a solid foundation for equipment performance, aligning with our broader quality and compliance goals. Now, let's move on to operational qualification, or OQ. This step is crucial because it ensures that the equipment operates as intended within specified parameters. First, we look at temperature accuracy across the relevant range. It's vital that the equipment maintains precise temperatures, especially since many processes depend on exact thermal conditions. Next, we evaluate the heating rate stability. For example, in compendial methods, a typical heating rate might be 1 degree Celsius per minute. Ensuring this rate is consistent is important for reproducibility and compliance. We also need to check the display and sensor functionality. Accurate and reliable readings are essential, so we verify that the sensors and displays are functioning correctly and providing true data. Finally, controls, alarms, and safety interlocks play a critical role in safe operation. They help prevent mishaps by alerting operators to issues and automatically shutting down or modifying operation if necessary. All these parameters together give us confidence that the equipment can perform reliably and safely during routine use, supporting the overall quality and compliance of our processes. Now, let's talk about calibration with certified standards. The key here is to use reference materials that have precisely known melting point ranges. This helps us ensure our instrument is accurate and reliable. For example, we use vanillin, which has a melting point range of 81 to 83 degrees Celsius, or acetanilide at 114 to 116 degrees. Urea melts between 132 and 135 degrees, sulfanilamide from 164.5 to 166.5, and caffeine from 234 to 237 degrees. By measuring these standards, we can verify that our instrument is performing correctly. The most important point is that the observed melting ranges must fall within these certified limits. If they do, we can confidently say our instrument is calibrated properly. This process is crucial because it underpins the accuracy of all subsequent measurements and analyses. So, calibration with these standards is a fundamental step to ensure consistency and trustworthiness in our results. Now, let's walk through how to perform calibration effectively. First, you'll want to prepare your capillaries by filling them with a finely powdered reference standard. This ensures accurate and consistent results. Next, set your heat block to start about 10 degrees Celsius below the expected melting point of your standard. This initial step helps you observe the melting process more precisely. Then, carefully insert the capillary into the heat block. As you continue heating, pay close attention to the point where melting begins and ends. Recording these start and end points is crucial because it allows you to compare your observed melting range with the certified range of your standard. Finally, record your results and analyze them by comparing your observed melting points to the certified range. This comparison will help you determine whether your calibration passes or fails. Remember, accurate calibration is fundamental to ensuring the reliability of your measurements throughout the process. Let's talk about deviations and adjustments. When a measurement is out of calibration, we calculate the deviation by subtracting the certified melting point from the observed melting point. For example, if we observe acetanilide melting at 118 degrees Celsius, but the certified value is between 114 and 116 degrees, the deviation is plus 2 degrees. This means it's out of tolerance and needs adjustment and recalibration. Now, the regulatory logic behind this is that tolerances, like plus or minus 0.5 to 1 degree Celsius, are set to ensure our measurements stay within a range that's acceptable for quality control. It's all about maintaining measurement precision and consistency. In terms of calibration, the key is to regularly check and adjust our instruments so that our measurements remain accurate and reliable. This process is essential for ensuring the quality and validity of our results over time. Now let's discuss performance qualification, or PQ. The main objective here is to demonstrate that under routine test conditions, our instrument consistently provides accurate results. To do this, we perform a series of tests, specifically, testing 3 replicates of each reference standard. We then calculate the mean, or average, of these observed measurements, which helps us understand the typical result we can expect. Alongside this, we determine the standard deviation, which tells us how much the individual measurements vary around that mean. The key point is to ensure these results stay within predefined criteria, usually expressed as a plus or minus tolerance. Staying within these limits indicates that our instrument is performing reliably and consistently. For example, calculating the mean is straightforward. You add up the 3 measurements, then divide by 3. The standard deviation involves a bit more math, taking each measurement's difference from the mean, squaring those differences, summing them up, dividing by n-1, and then taking the square root. Overall, consistent results mean good precision, which is critical for validating our instrument's performance. This process helps us ensure quality and reliability in our testing procedures. Now, let's talk about requalification and periodic checks. These are essential steps to ensure our equipment remains accurate and reliable over time. The recommended intervals for these checks are typically monthly or quarterly calibration assessments, but they should also be performed after any repairs or maintenance to confirm everything is still within specifications. Routine checks are a crucial part of this process. For example, you want to verify your calibration with at least one reference standard that covers your operational range. This helps confirm that your measurements are consistent and trustworthy. It's also important to document everything thoroughly. Labels indicating calibration, status, and logs of each check should be maintained diligently. From a regulatory perspective, these practices are vital because they ensure ongoing accuracy and help us stay audit-ready. Keeping up with regular requalification not only safeguards the quality of our measurements, but also supports compliance with industry standards. So, in essence, these checks are about maintaining confidence in our equipment and, ultimately, in the integrity of our results. Let's talk about documentation and compliance. These are the core records that support our quality systems. First, we have IQ, OQ, and PQ protocols and reports. These documents are essential because they outline and verify that our equipment and processes meet specified requirements throughout their life cycle. Next, calibration certificates from ISO 17025 labs. These certificates are critical because they confirm our instruments are calibrated accurately and maintained to international standards. Then, calibration status tags and logs. These help us keep track of when instruments were last calibrated and their current status, ensuring ongoing accuracy. Moving on, SOPs for operation, maintenance, and qualification. Standard operating procedures are the backbone of consistent, compliant practices across all operations. Lastly, change control records. These documents are vital for tracking any modifications to our processes or equipment, ensuring changes are managed properly. The overall purpose of maintaining these documents is to prove our compliance with GMP and GLP standards and to streamline audits. Having thorough, organized records not only demonstrates our commitment to quality, but also makes the audit process much smoother and more transparent. Let's talk about some best practices to ensure the accuracy and reliability of our melting point measurements. First, it's crucial to perform melting point qualification because it guarantees that our measurements are both accurate and reliable, which is essential for quality control. Next, we need to follow a structured life cycle for validation, starting with design qualification, then installation qualification, operational qualification, and finally performance qualification. This systematic approach helps maintain consistency and confidence in our results. Using certified reference standards with known melting ranges is also key. These standards serve as benchmarks, ensuring our equipment and procedures are working correctly. Periodic calibration is another important step. Regular calibration helps us maintain long-term compliance with regulatory requirements and keeps our measurements trustworthy over time. Finally, thorough documentation can't be overstated. Keeping detailed records is critical because it supports regulatory inspections and demonstrates that we are following best practices and maintaining quality standards. By following these guidelines, we reinforce the integrity of our melting point testing process and uphold the highest quality standards across our operations. For further support, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're here to help answer any questions or provide additional resources you might need. And with that, I want to sincerely thank you all for your time and attention today. Your engagement is truly appreciated. Remember, whether it's next steps or just clarifications, we're always available to assist you. Thank you again, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.